Students, now we are going to discuss the second topic, and that is known as types of contraceptives. See, contraceptives are nothing but the devices or the methodologies which are used to prevent the implantation or fertilization after coitus or to space the children. Various kinds of contraceptives are written on the board. The first one is known as natural or traditional method of contraceptives, and among them the first one is known as periodic abstinence. What do you mean by periodic abstinence? We know that during the 10th to 17th day of menstrual cycle of female, the ovulation, that is release of ova, is highly expected, and so this is known as the reproductive period or the fertilization period of female. And if during these days, if we can prevent coitus or intercourse, then there will be no possibility of fertilization. So generally these methods, natural method, barrier methods, they are used to prevent the meeting of sperms or ova, and they act as a barrier between them. So periodic abstinence is the method in which the coitus or intercourse is prevented during the 10th to 17th day of menstrual cycle of female, and so that no sperm will be ejaculated in the vagina during this period, and there will be no possibility of fertilization. That means the zygote will not be formed. So there will be no possibility to become pregnant. Second, that is known as lactational amenorrhea. Lactational amenorrhea, that means absence of menstrual cycle, and this will be effective after delivery, that means after parturition, after the birth of a child, up to 6 months, when intense lactation, that means the days of breastfeeding, that means when the mother breastfeeds the child after parturition, and intense lactation, that means complete breastfeeding is occurred, then only in that period there will be absence of ovulation, that means ova will not be released, and so that there will be absence of menstrual cycle. And in absence of menstrual cycle, if at all coitus or intercourse will be there, there will be no possibility of fertilization because ovule will be absent. But this method is utilized, or it is perfect only up to 6 months after parturition, and sometimes some exceptional cases are also there, that means after 2 or 3 months the woman again become pregnant. So there is little bit less reliability of this method. The third one is known as withdrawal or coitus interruptus. This is the method during which, during intercourse, during coitus, when that means the couple doing intercourse, at that time the male partner take out the penis from the vagina of the female, and ejaculation of semen occurs outside the body of vagina of female, and so that the semen will be ejaculated outer side of the body, though there will be no possibility of fertilization. So these are the three natural or traditional methods. As no other thing or chemical or device is utilized in this, there are no side effects. These are natural methods without having any kind of side effects. But the possibility of failure of there is little bit high. So second one, Second one is known as barrier method. And barrier method is the method in which the physical thing, physical substance or physical structure is utilized to prevent the meeting of male and female gametes. First one is very well known word, that is known as condom. And condom is nothing but a rubber tube or tube like structure made up of rubber or latex. And it is available for both males and females. And it can be wear before coitus by both male and female. And so what will happen? At the time of ejaculation, the semen will be gathered in the apical part of the condom, and so that the semen will not release in the reproductive tract of female. So semen will not enter, sperms will not enter into reproductive tract, and so that there will not be any possibility of fertilization. Diaphragm, cervical caps and warts. They are also the structures which are made up of latex or rubber. And they are available only for females. And these structures are reusable. Condoms are disposable. And males and females can wear condom themselves, so that their privacy will be maintained. Diaphragm, cervical caps and warts. These structures are put in the cervical region of the uterus of female by expert nurses, and so that the privacy will not be maintained, but they are reusable. The function of the cervical caps or warts or diaphragm, they are the same. They will prevent the entry of sperms from the vagina into the uterus, because in between their cervix is there, cervical cap will be there, so it will act as a barrier, and so that the semen or the sperms will not enter into this reproductive tract of female, that is uterus or oviduct, and so that there will not be any kind of chances to meet the sperms with the released ova. And these are nowadays, they are very much used, or they are useful, they are very much utilized structures. Along with this, that is condoms. See, Nirod is a popular brand of condom, right? Okay. Along with condoms or diaphragms or cervical caps or balls, spermicidal foams or jellies or creams, they are also utilized. And they are used to increase the percentage of what do you mean by percentage of spermicidal effects, or sometimes the meeting of sperms with ova. That means to become powerful in hindering these kind of things. So spermicidal foams or jellies or creams, they are utilized to prevent again the sperms to meet the ova, right? So these are the barrier methods. The third one, they are called intrauterine devices. Intrauterine devices are the devices which are put in the reproductive tract of female by expert doctors or expert nurses or expert persons. They are of different types. The first one is non-medicated. The example is Lippus loop. The second one is copper releasing IUDs. Those are copper T, copper 7, multi-load 375. And third one is hormone releasing. Example LNG20 or NCERT. So these are the IUDs. These are the devices which are put in the cervix or the uterine part of the female. So what the IUDs will do, they will increase the phagocytosis of sperms. The first one. Second, The copper ions which are released by copper 3 or copper 7, they are having the spermicidal effect, that means sperm motility will be decreased. And third, the cervix and the uterus will hinder the possibility of implantation. The cervix and uterine wall completely become agitated with the help of different kinds of intrauterine devices. So there will be no possibility of implantation. That means if at all, sometimes if at all, fertilization takes place and zygote is prepared, the zygote will not become implanted in the uterus because of the presence of different kinds of IUDs. See, the IUDs, once they are put, the effect is reversible. That means once they are put, they are having contraceptive property. But once they are removed, again the female can be reproductive. So because of the higher reversible value of intrauterine devices and the effect is for longer time, they are the most widely used contraceptives in India and the world. Once they are put, just forget it, nothing else. You can do intercourse at any time. That means these are having a high contraceptive values. But some of the adverse effects of these kind of IUDs are also observed. Now, oral contraceptives. Oral contraceptives are the structures which are having either progesterones or progestogens and or the combination of progestogen or progesterone and estrogen combination. That means these combinations or the volume or the concentration of progesterone and estrogen occurs in the form of tablets, which is commonly known as pills. And these pills are taken from the 5th day of menstrual cycle, that is beginning of the menstrual cycle. And they are continuously taken up to 21 days. And after completion of the whole course, after 2 or 3 days, again menstruation comes. That means this is the method in which various combinations are given to the female. And these pills are also available. That means they are only available for females. Different kinds of pills are available in the market. But second one, this is a non-steroidal product that is called Saheli. And Saheli is prepared by the Indian government company, right? Which is based in Lucknow, right? And this company is prepared Saheli. It is a non-steroidal combination and it is once a week tablet. Once a week. That means the female has to take a single tablet once in a week. It is also known as Sunday Monday tablet. That means either Sunday or Monday it has to be taken. It is having high contraceptive value with a little side effect. Okay? And now comes the injectables or implants. The injectables or implants, they are again progestogens and estrogen combinations. They are having the same concentration like pills, but the injections are given under the skin to the female, and they are also having as high as contraceptive value like pills. So these were the different kinds of contraceptives. But last one, and that is called the surgical methods. Surgery. And surgery, they are of 2 types. The first one is called vasectomy and another one is known as tubectomy. Vasectomy is the surgery which is applied onto male and tubectomy is the surgery which is applied onto female. In vasectomy, some part of vas deferens is cut or tied with the help of small incision on scrotum, or in tuberculosis, part of oviduct is cut or tied either through vagina or a small incision on abdomen. So here what happens, as the vas deferens or oviduct are cut, there will be no possibility of coming or meeting of sperms and ova. And these are, that means the reversibility of these methods is very little, but they are 100% successful methods for contraceptives. So nowadays, the use of contraceptive has quietly increased in the society. See, the use of contraceptive is against the natural thing. That is, natural thing is what? The production of sperms, the production of ova, the fertilization, and again the birth of a child. But when we are using the contraceptives, we are against the tradition, we are against the environment. But because of the use of contraceptives, first of all, the population explosion is controlled in somewhat extent, and second thing, the persons, that means the young ones, can prevent themselves from different kinds of STDs or STIs, sexually transmitted diseases. But the main thing is that the contraceptives are only used by the couples. They must be used by the couples who don't want the child frequently. And secondly, if they want to space the children, that means get between two successive children, only then and then these contraceptives must be used. And using of contraceptives or the use of contraceptive implantation must be carried out with intense care that is required, right? So these were the types of contraceptives, and now we are going towards the next topic, and that is known as medical termination of pregnancy. Now, MTP means medical termination of pregnancy, and this is medical term which is used to remove pregnancy. Medical termination of pregnancy occurs in the world about 45 to 50 million per year, and that is nothing but the 1/5 part of the total conceived pregnancies. That means 20%, we can say. So, the medical termination of pregnancy, is it essential? Yes, sometimes it is essential, and sometimes because of amniocentesis. I think you are familiar with the term. The amniocentesis is the method in which the amniotic fluid is being tested for various kinds of chromosomal aberrations. And because of that, what happens? Sometimes the sex of a child is observed, and so that for female fetus side, medical termination of pregnancy can be done, and that is not good, that is not legal. So in 1971, Government of India passed a law to legalize the medical termination of pregnancy up to 12 weeks of fetus in certain conditions, and this can be followed with the help of just one doctor, that means by the advice of single doctor. In 2017, again, the Government of India made some changes in the law of MTP, and it is proposed that if that means the duration of the fetus is from 12 to 24 weeks, that means 3 to 6 months old fetus, then also the medical termination of pregnancy can be done, but with the advice of two different doctors, qualified doctors. And this can be also always done with the help of qualified persons under complete observation. So in which of the cases the medical termination of pregnancy or abortion can be done? Different 4 kinds of situations are there in which the MTP or abortion can be done. The first condition, the first situation, if continuous pregnancy is harmful for the health of mother, then only the MTP can be performed. Second, if pregnancy is the result of rape. Third one, pregnancy occurred due to the failure of contraceptives. And fourth one, if the fetus, the developing fetus in the womb has some kind of abnormalities or mutations, physical mutations, then only the MTP can be performed. These are the four, that means four conditions during which the abortion is performed, and it can be performed legally. But only for female feticide, it is not legal, it is completely illegal, and it can be having the adverse effects like 3 months or 6 months of jail, like that, and cancellation of medical practitioner certificate. So this was about MTP. And now we are going towards the third topic, and that is known as STD or sexually transmitted diseases. See, we have studied that the using of contraceptives. See, sometimes the use of contraceptives or use of IUDs or use of implants or combination of progesterone estrogen is also performed, is also utilized to prevent the result of rape or sometimes the failure of contraceptives. It is known as unwanted 72, kind of pill. That means after coitus, if within 72 hours, if it is taken, 100% fertilization will not occur in female body. There is another type of contraceptive I forgot to discuss with you. Now we are coming towards STDs. STDs are known as sexually transmitted diseases, or they are called sexually transmitted infections, or they are called reproductive tract infections, or they are known as venereal diseases. So the diseases, the infectious diseases which can be spread because of coitus or intercourse or sexual intercourse, and those are involving STDs. Different kinds of sexual intercourses diseases are there, but some of the diseases we are very much aware, or we know, or we have heard the names of them. Those are gonorrhea. It can occur in both female and males. Neisseria gonorrhea is the causative organism of that. Syphilis, it can also occur in both, right? Genital herpes and genital warts, chlamydiasis, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B, and last but not the least, AIDS, which occurs through HIV. So in these cases, mostly the characters or symptoms are not greatly observed. In initial basis, except AIDS and hepatitis B or genital herpes, if that means we know that we are suffering from this kind of diseases, we can cure them easily. Except AIDS, hepatitis and genital herpes. Hepatitis B and genital herpes can be cured, but it will take long time, and AIDS is an uncurable disease. That means The diagnosis of these reproductive tract infections is very much important. Now, the common symptoms of STDs, that is temperature or fever, then abdominal pain, then bubbles or warts in genital area, itching, burning sensation, including etc. And these can be cured, as I told you earlier. And these STDs can transmit through sexual intercourse, through blood. They are transmitted. So, what we have to do to prevent? See, prevention or precaution is better than cure. That means, if you want to become cured, don't let it be, but you prevent yourself for entering into this kind of condition. So what we can do, first one, avoid sexual contact with unknown or more partners. Second, always use condoms during coitus. And third, always contact doctors if you observe any kind of irregular symptom in your body. Sexually transmitted disease can always be prevented, and you can become cured in every case except AIDS. Right? So this was all about sexually transmitted infections. And now we will move towards the last topic, and that is known as infertility.